former LSU and NFL tight end, as well as former Central High School Falcon Harold Bishop Jr., who's been with us on the program before. It's a big weekend for him, being a guy that grew up in Tuscaloosa and went to Tuscaloosa Central High School, but then spurned Alabama for LSU. This is always a big week. How are you, Harold?
Gary, I'm doing well, man. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well, man. And as I said, this is a big week for people on both sides. Lately, it's been the Alabama folks that have had bragging rights, 5 straight wins. We had you on last year when LSU was 7-0 coming in here to Tuscaloosa and kind of got derailed. Leonard Fournette, 19 carries for 31 yards. But this is a new year, and LSU's got a new head coach. Ed Orgeron's the interim head coach after Les Miles was relieved of his duties. First of all, let's pick it up right there. What did you think of the decision early in the season following the loss at Auburn to go ahead and fire Les Miles?
Well, I think as a alumni of the university, you hate to see a head coach or anybody lose their position. But, Coach Miles had, a great career at LSU, and it had come to a point where change was imminent, and we were losing games in, horrible fashion. The 2 losses that we had this year to Wisconsin and Auburn, in my opinion, should have been wins. And, I think, honestly, it was a good move. The program obviously has, sparked since then. So you really can't argue with it.
Yeah, LSU has gone unbeaten since the change was made. 3-0 with wins over Missouri, Southern Mississippi, and Ole Miss. Ed Orgeron does seem like he's brought some enthusiasm. He's just kind of freed LSU up, especially on offense. It seems like they're playing with more confidence and they're taking some shots, and just seems to be a little bit more swagger to them offensively than they had under Miles and Cam Cameron.
I agree. Honestly, I like the promotion of Steve Emsminger as the offensive coordinator. He's spreading the ball around a lot, and honestly, this is going to be very important this week if we're going to even attempt to, have an opportunity to win the game. We're going to have to do other things other than run Leonard Fournette left and right. So, we're going to have to have a balanced game. Alabama is the best team in the country, and for us to beat them, we're going to have to play a perfect game on both sides of the ball, as well as special teams, and then have some luck. So, we're definitely going to have to be balanced, and I think Coach Emsminger will call a good game, and we'll give it our best shot.
Harold Bishop Jr., our guest, former Central High School Falcons standout tight end, LSU tight end, and 6 years in the National Football League, talking Alabama and LSU. Leonard Fournette, we mentioned last year the numbers, unbelievable, really, that he was held to 31 yards on 19 carries against Alabama as the Tide won 31-16 here in Tuscaloosa. But he's coming off a game against LSU, or against Ole Miss, I should say, where he went for over 280 yards. He's healthy. He sat a few games out. He's motivated not only to play for LSU, but also for the fact that he's more than likely going into the NFL draft. How do you see this matchup this year between the Alabama defense and Leonard Fournette?
Honestly, I think it's going to be a good matchup. Honestly, every year it's a good matchup. Even when I played at LSU, it was always a dogfight. And so, up front it's going to be very important for our offensive line to get a hat on the hat and, give Leonard an opportunity to get to the next level and make plays. Ole Miss is Ole Miss, Alabama's Alabama, though. It is what it is. And he did have a good game. I think he's healthy. I think that's very key that he, let himself get himself back to 100%. And I think, if our offensive line is healthy, if we can match up with the front seven of Alabama, which is not an easy feat, and again, be able to spread the ball around, I think that's going to be the key for Leonard. For Leonard to be able to get positive yardage, we're going to have to, move the ball around and not allow Alabama to put 9 in the box and load up on him. I mean, if we can't, move the ball around, I think he'll have another long day. But again, I think we've changed our approach, and if we've gotten just a little bit better at that, I think we'll have a little better chance to move the ball, and he'll have an opportunity to have a better output.
Danny Etling, the quarterback. Interesting story. Transfer from Purdue. Probably more than likely, most LSU people thought when he transferred in he'd never be more than a backup with the way LSU recruits. But Brandon Harris, we know his troubles. Everybody said during the offseason, everybody meaning folks from LSU, that this was going to be his year. Yeah. That Cam Cameron had put a system in place that was going to allow Harris to thrive, and it didn't happen. LSU goes to Etling, and while he doesn't have the playmaking ability of Harris, he does seem to be able to manage the game, make enough throws to keep the defense honest, and if nothing else, he's just giving that offense some consistency. You agree with that?
I totally agree. Danny has come in and he has, utilized the weapons that he has around him. He seems to have a good grasp on the concept of what we're trying to get accomplished. What I like personally is I like that they're using their tight ends a lot more, and they're using the fullback out of the backfield. They're not running two-man routes, which is archaic, to say the least. And, they're getting it done. And so, it's all about getting it done. Honestly, I feel, bad for Brandon, but Brandon definitely had his opportunity. And, I don't know if the roles will reverse and Brandon was the guy on the bench and Brandon had the opportunity to come in with the offense that we're running now, if he would not be a better quarterback. So, you just never know. You just have to seize your opportunity, and Danny Etling has done that. And because he's done that, he's our starting quarterback.
Saturday night, LSU fans are going to be, they're going to be LSU fans. They're going to be pumped. They're going to have all day to tailgate. There is a lot of pent-up frustration there in regards to Alabama going back to the championship game at the Sugar Bowl following the 2011 season. They haven't won in 5 consecutive games. You've played there. You played there against Alabama. For folks who haven't been there, and I know a lot of Alabama fans have been, but what's that atmosphere going to be like on Saturday night?
Wow, it's going to be electric. I mean, honestly, Louisiana State fans are extremely passionate, as are Alabama fans. And I think they're, at this point, they're ready for, a change of the guard. Alabama has been dominant, to say the least, over the last few years in this football game, and it's just time for us to, in my opinion, I would rather see us go out and play a game and give us an opportunity in the fourth quarter and allow those fans to be a part of the outcome of the game, And so if we go out and we perform, I think the fans will be at their ralliest. And it's like that every Saturday there. Saturday night at Tiger Stadium is electric and it's special. And, with Alabama coming in, it's going to make it that much more special. So it's going to be a full house. It's going to be a rowdy house, and it's going to be a team hopefully that's ready to play and ready to take on this opportunity as they should.
Former LSU and NFL tight end Harold Bishop Jr., our guest here on the Bud Light Hotline, presented by Adams Beverages, talking Alabama and LSU. Getting back to Ed Orgeron, you seem like you're excited about what he's brought to the program. LSU's going to have to hire a permanent head coach, whether it's him or someone else. Clearly, he could strengthen his case with a win over Alabama, to say the least, or how he finishes out this season. What do you think about Orgeron as the permanent head coach? Is that something the former LSU players could get behind?
I think we're definitely behind him. I mean, he's a Louisiana guy. He's from the South Louisiana Marsh. He's definitely a Cajun, to say the least. And it seems like the kids really, really like him. And they really like Les Miles, and so it's really about them and being able to have the chemistry with the coach that moving forward is going to be successful. It's important that the kids are successful not only on the field but in the classroom. And I think he's bought into that. He's been a head coach before at Ole Miss in the SEC. He didn't have a lot of success, but he went on to USC and had some success as the interim head coach there. And I think sometimes people try to look outside the box for this name or this persona, and he personifies everything that I've ever seen down in Louisiana. And I think, his recruiting ability and his ability to obviously, turn our program around has shown that he is capable of being the guy. And I'm rooting for him. I hope he gets an opportunity to get the job. I think he'll do a great job.
Well, every time that I've talked to you, whether it's been on the radio or on television, we always have to bring this up. But I know some folks are listening. They're familiar with you. They know you, but some other folks may not. And it is an interesting story because you grew up around Alabama football. Your father, Dr. Bishop, at the University of Alabama. You were raised on it. You went to Central High School and clearly had an opportunity to attend Alabama had you chosen to do so. Instead, you went to LSU. Revisit that story, how a young man that was weaned on Alabama football wound up spurning the tide to go to LSU.
Well, Alabama has always had and still holds a special place in my heart. My father, again, was a professor at the university, and pretty much grew up on campus. And, when I grew into an athlete and started playing football, Alabama was, again, near dear in my heart. But as you grow older, you find things that, you may want to achieve, or you may want to see different things in life. And honestly, LSU offered me that opportunity. It's still an SEC West school. It's, in the best side of the conference, in my opinion. It's a lot of culture, and I had an opportunity to go down there and visit, and it just gave me an opportunity to step away from home and see a different side of life. And I'm happy I did it. But again, kids, are faced with these opportunities all the time, and you see kids leave and go different places. But that's really the first big decision that you make in your life. As a youngster, be it football or be it athletics or just be it, as a student. And so it's important that you really think it out, and I think I thought it out, and my father and I talked about it, and it wasn't always favorable on my side, but it turned out all right. And, from that I was able to, marry my wife, Pamela, and able to have 3 great children, and was able to play in some great football games. And, I'm happy I made the decision that I made.
No doubt about it, and people that know you understand you're an LSU guy, as you just explained, but at the same time, because of your strong connections to Tuscaloosa and to the University of Alabama, we use this term sometimes, second favorite team, and I guess in your case that is the case with Alabama. If it can't be LSU, it might as well be Alabama for you, right?
Absolutely. I root for Alabama, every week. It's just one Saturday out of the year that I pull against them. And so, I'm really excited about, their consistency and how they have built this program to what it is. And honestly, it is the Mecca right now. And so all the other teams, I think, in the SEC and are in the country are trying to get to this point. And so it gives us at LSU something to shoot at. And, every year, we have an opportunity to face them. So, each year we have a chance. But yeah, Alabama is the real deal. And, I like Nick Saban a lot. I like what he's done for the university, for the city of Tuscaloosa, and for the state. So, absolutely, Alabama is definitely is one of my favorite teams, along with LSU.
You got a pick for Saturday night?
Well, honestly, I'm picking us to play better this year. I'm not going to pick a winner or a loser because, honestly, I think I picked wrong last year. I don't want to pick wrong this year. But I think this is what I truly think. I think if we give ourselves a chance in the fourth quarter, we'll give ourselves a chance to win the game. And if we play consistently, offensively, and mix it up, and then, again, defensively, we're going to have to play a really, really, really strong game in special teams, no mistakes, and maybe have some positives on special teams. You have a chance. So, if we give ourselves a chance in the fourth quarter, I think we'll have a chance in Tiger Stadium to come out victorious. But as of right now, I think Alabama's the team to beat, and you have to unseat the champion to be the champion. So I think that's where it stays, and that's where it lies right now.
Wrapping up with Harold Bishop here on the Bud Light Hotline presented by Adams Beverages. One final thing. I want to break away from Alabama LSU for a moment. When you were in the NFL, I know you're 6'6". You played at what, about 250 or so?
Yeah, 250, 255.
All right, basically very similar in size and stature to Cam Newton, who is a quarterback.
Sure.
But I want to get your opinion on Cam's situation because we know he is a different kind of quarterback. We know he's as big as some, defensive ends and linebackers, and his ability to run the football is unbelievable. And Carolina does a lot of the zone read stuff with him. He has been taking hits, some in the pocket. I get that. But came out after the last game and said something I just thought was very unusual. I mean, it's one thing for quarterbacks to complain about taking hits, but he said that, they're taking all the fun out of the game for me. I don't want to play anymore if this is the way it's going to be. He asked for a meeting with Commissioner Goodell and is going to get it. As a former NFL player, where do you come down on that? And let me set you up by saying this. When a quarterback's standing in the pocket, whether it's Cam Newton or a guy who's 6'2" and 190 pounds, they all deserve the same protection under the rules. The difference with him is he will pull it down and run it. And once you leave the pocket to me and you're a runner, you're going to get hit. And because of his ability to make plays, even when he's in the pocket, I think defenders do, if it's Tom Brady, they know they hit Brady, he's going down more than likely. With Cam, that's not necessarily the case. Just how do you see this whole issue with him? Is he taking hits that are unfair? Is he getting treatment from the officials that other quarterbacks don't get? Is it the Shaquille O'Neal effect? How do you see this with Cam Newton?
Honestly, you have to look at it from the type of quarterback he is. I think some of the hits are definitely over the top. I watched him play against the Broncos this year, and even as a runner, some of the hits he was taking to the face and to the head were hits that another quarterback may potentially get the benefit of the doubt. What I don't agree with is you're taking the hits, you wear the hat, you get paid to play. At some point, you may get a little upset about it, but I think it really goes back to your coach and your organization protecting you and making sure that you're protected and you're given the same rights as everybody else. I think, honestly, in my opinion, the new athlete is a little different than the era that I played in. And they're a little bit more opinionated about things, and they want things to go their way when they're not going well. And I think at the end of the day, you just have to play, and you have to let the game come to you. And if the game is not fun to him because he's getting hit, do something not to get hit. And so I think it lies in the player's hand. And I think some of it he can't control. I think he is 6'5", 6'6", 255 pounds. And when you do pull the ball down the run, you do have to be alert that you're going to be hit, and you are going to be hit. But the plays in the pocket, if it were Tom Brady, I think they would be definitely called, and I think those need to be looked at a little closer. But when you pull the ball down and you run, it's the Mike Vick effect. You're at that point you're the prey, and so you have to protect yourself, or you have to slide, or you have to create some type of technique so that you won't get hurt. But when you tuck it, you're a running back, and so the outspokenness of these young players, I think, is a little, in my opinion, over the top when things aren't going their way. I come from an era where you just strap it up, you do a couple of more reps, and you try to do better the next Sunday or Saturday. And so, but it's the way of the world now. It's just the way that all things are. And I think that Cam Newton's going to get his opportunity to speak with the commissioner, and I think it does need to be looked at from certain angles. But at the end of the day, press conference is not a meat conference. It's about your team, and I think the emphasis should be around the Carolina Panthers and not, just Cam Newton and what he's going through and the game not being fun to him.
Real quickly, as a former player, and you, I know that you said the game's changed, but you know what it's like to be an NFL player. Do you think the current players view him as a whiner, or they think his concerns are legitimate?
I think maybe some of them do. I think that a lot of them have a great amount of respect for Cam Newton, though, because of the type of player he is. But I think, again, I think it's across the board. I think kids are now, and me now, and it's a team sport. It's 11 on 11, and you have to take the good with the bad. And so I wouldn't say that they think he's a whiner. I think that from his standpoint, he's taking a stand for himself, and you only have a certain amount of years to play because of injury, and the concussion thing and the concussion protocol is definitely in effect now with the new NFL, and so if he's thinking about his longevity, I don't think he's whining. I think it's legitimate, but I think at the same time it needs to be looked at from the top down. And I think that starts with the head coach, the owner, and the infrastructure of the team, and I think that should be addressed, in that from that standpoint. But as a whiner, I don't think so. I just think that, again, he's a new age kid. He's a great athlete. He's a anomaly, and I think that's just the way the kids they operate now. Good
stuff, Harold. Good to catch up with you. And Saturday night's going to be fun down in Baton Rouge. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you, Gary. Have a good one, man.